Alright, this is Dumple bringing you the game R-Type Leo, a classic shmup and an awesome game in an awesome series. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. You'll notice that the music is very chill.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, so as in other R-Type games, you get a extra add-on for your ship. In this case, it's these two guys up and down from your ship, and they can block shots, and then if you hit button 2, you can basically sick them on the enemies. They'll zoom around, hit anything on screen, but they have a limited meter there at the bottom, and once that's out, they can't do anything until you call them back, and they recharge while they're hanging out by your ship. Because stage 1 is nice and chill and comfy, I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing at this event. So we are raising money to fight climate change. Citizens Climate Lobby, or CCL for short, empowers regular people like you and me to effectively push for the changes we need to preserve a livable world. Every donation counts, every dollar is a good dollar, so if you haven't made a donation, why not now? You can chip in $5 to buy the climate a coffee. Donations of $10 or more, correct me if I'm wrong, get you entered into a raffle to win one of a bunch of great prizes. There's also donation incentives to unlock different games in the marathon and make choices about what things we get to show off in these games. You may be shocked to hear it, but lawmakers often say they don't hear a lot from constituents about climate change, and we can fix that. So even if making donations isn't a super great idea for you right now, check out the CCL website and you can write to Congress. It takes 5 or 10 minutes and it makes a big impact. Like I said, I'm excited about CCL. I volunteer with them, and I'm actually flying to Washington, D.C. on Friday to meet with lawmakers. The more they hear from constituents about wanting action on climate change, the better those live conversations can go. Alright, and that takes us to the end of stage 1. The stage 1 boss isn't too scary. It's a good excuse to use your special attack. And that's all you gotta do.
Let's go.
Area 2, we have a desert-themed area and a lot of environmental hazards, walls to avoid crashing into. It's kind of common in horizontally scrolling shmups, or for there to be a lot of terrain to worry about. Vertical scrolling shmups tend not to have a lot of walls to worry about. For instance, Toho, you have a million zillion shots to dodge. You don't have to worry about any kind of terrain or walls to dodge. I kind of like having stuff to navigate through. It gets a little bit out of control later in this game. The difficulty here starts easy-ish, certainly by arcade shmup standards, but this game's no pushover. There are some places where you'll need to do some learning, some memorizing. Oh yeah, the weapons. You can choose red weapon, green weapon, or blue weapon. Red weapon, this laser that fires ahead and behind, does great damage over time. It's what I use most of the run. It's also very predictable in terms of where it goes and what it does. The blue laser bounces around and bounces off of walls and goes diagonally. That's really neat, but also not 100% reliable, so I don't use a lot of that. And then the green laser fires off lasers that will curve and seek after enemies. They'll curve at 90-degree angles. And that is situationally awesome. There are definitely some places where I'll be using that to hit things around corners. So here's one of those environmental hazards. You have to go up, forward, and then back to avoid getting bonked on the head by that giant bit of rock. The stage 2 boss is going to fire off these spinny things. This boss gave me a lot of trouble at first because you can get boxed in if you let yourself get boxed in. Once you know he's going to fire at you, you can therefore control where his shots are going. It's not so scary. There's definitely multiple things to keep track of on screen. Area 3, Tropical Forest. The original R-Type is one of those games that had a guts stage, kind of a biological, biomechanical horror stage. R-Type Leo is a little less spooky scary. So instead of a blood and guts stage, it's just a jungly sort of stage. Still, still very alien, still very ominous, but not quite as gross. So you just have some oozing sap after you blow this stuff away. Here, the seeker shots are really nice because they can go straight through walls and hit things that otherwise you'd have to shoot at a lot later in the level. Like there, I can blow that up before I even have to worry about going through into this room. Yeah, these fly sort of things that fire lasers, they can be trouble. And there will be places where I rely on my side shots to take them out, like here. You get one or two score-based extends in this game. That's handy. It's good insurance, just in case you get killed, which is very possible even after I've been playing this for a long time. This was the first arcade shmup that I ever cleared. Not my first arcade 1cc, but my first shmup 1cc on that arcade game. A lot of shmups have interesting ways to get high scores. This one is mostly a matter of shoot everything and get to the end with your lives intact. There is a very silly scoring glitch that I might show off on the final boss, where for no apparent reason, killing a particular form of the final boss with the green weapon racks up a bunch of points. It's sort of like it's not done getting rid of its hitbox until after it's already dead. You get to get points for killing it multiple times. Alright, yeah, that boss, you have to kind of pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time as you're dodging spread shots and also that giant beam and also the sneaky thing. Here in the floating continent, we have to worry about these walls closing in on us. There's actually a little bit of choice in the route, whether we go ahead or behind the stalactites. I generally go ahead and go further forward. The S pickup is a speed up. Speed pickups are one of my least favorite shmup features. I'm glad they have gotten abandoned over time. Old shmups tended to have a speed that was too slow before you got a speed pickup. They often also could end up being too fast if you accidentally got too many speed pickups. Thankfully this one, the starting speed is fine. Speeding up is possibly a good idea, and the speed ups have diminishing returns. So you have a very noticeable speed increase for the first one, and then just a very gentle further acceleration if you pick up more. That's a perfect spot for tap dodging. Tap dodging is one of those basic verbs in a game like this. Tap dodging is what it sounds like, where you don't just hold the lever in one direction, you tippity tap it so that you move slowly and you cover ground only gradually while still being out of the way of aimed shots that are shooting at where you were a second ago. There's a semi-famous write-up called The Full Extent of the Jam that goes over a lot of how to play a shmup like this for a score or for a one-credit clear. And it's one of the only written guides I've seen that gets into just how you move around in a shmup. Tap it in. That just makes me think of some Simpsons episode. Tappa, tappa, tappa. game, I really like the bosses, especially the one in the next stage. They have multiple forms. They're challenging without being totally unreasonable. They sort of have to be challenging without being totally unreasonable because you don't have a screen-clearing bomb. The Japan version of R-Type Leo is actually a checkpoint-based shmup. So if you die, you get sent back a little bit. You have to repeat. You have to repeat the third grade. You'll get sent back a little behind where you got killed off. The US version, if you die, you just respawn right where you were. That makes it quite a bit easier because even in the worst case, you can have a damage race with the boss and finish him off. All right, we're going to very deliberately be at this height, no higher, no lower, so that we can kill these things as they come in from behind, so we don't have to have quite as many things shooting at us at unpredictable angles. There we go. That start of that stage is trickier than it might seem at first. Now this is a little bit like the smashing crusher room in Galaxy Quest, where I don't know what purpose this even serves, but it's a cool stage design to have to dodge all these smashing smashers. In this area we want to go sort of up and then arc over to the right, just like that. And then we want to not get hit by all the bullets. Good. Through another set of crushers. And in this section, we have a lot of little walls that get left behind. That's been a traditional part of R-Type, and even Gradia's had some of those. It reminds me of bubble wrap. Just listen to those satisfying popcorn noises as we blow up all those little bits and pieces. I deliberately switched to the green weapon here because it's good at dealing with some of these enemies while also doing a good job of popping the bubble wrap. And we have the kind of the calm before the storm. This next boss is possibly my favorite in the game. I really like it. Like, if you could just skip to this boss and play it, I would totally recommend everybody check it out. It seems very, very difficult at first, but then after you get in the groove, it becomes just a very doable thing. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 spread shots where I want to be directly back from him, and then one set of lasers from the top and the bottom. And then after he's done that pattern 3 times, he'll go and do a giant fuck you laser. That's definitely going to kill you the first time you play this game. Yeah, the platforms also switch directions after each mega beam that he fires. So you have to get in the habit of going sort of clockwise, then counterclockwise. Alright, this is good. We're at the core of the planet. This is the final stage. This is where the boxing gloves come off, and the game really does try to kill you a lot more than it did. The music is still chill, but the game takes no prisoners. Alright, we want to get green. Good. This intro part of the stage, this is, for me, was the hardest thing to learn, because you'll have multiple things to keep track of all at the same time. Ooh boy. Whoa nelly. Whoa nelly. Oh! Clipped me. It's okay. We're still good. We're still good. Yeah, so here, going across these lines triggers the security checkpoint to spawn a bunch of things to shoot at you. We actually want to trigger them good and early so that we have the maximum amount of time to deal with everything they're throwing at us. these guys will fire once you are on their horizontal level. And then they can't fire again for a moment or two. This up and down section, it's funny, there was during the Super Mario World run earlier in the marathon, there's a section that's basically this, only it's a platformer. Yeah, they can fire through walls, which is kind of rude, but you can also fire through walls. Coming up next, we have the Stompy Boys. These are the place where you are pretty much guaranteed to die in your first time through the game. They take a lot of hits before they go down. And in my route, I'm not even going to bother to try and kill the second one. I'm just going to focus on the not dying part of things. Yeah, so I gotta hit him a lot. Then here's a trap. You saw earlier that when you hit a thing, it would spawn a crusher. So if you hit that too early, you will get squished. You don't have time to tell R2-D2 to shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level. Now here's the final boss. This first form is the one where if you kill this guy with a green weapon at more or less point-blank range, it's worth a big point bonus. Alright, we're going to get real close. Unload a lot of damage. Then hide down here. And then just do some honest dodging. This form should be almost done. There we go. And then we're going to gradually fade back. This final form can definitely freak you out the first time through. But everything's moving at a very reasonable pace, so if you're just ready to, weave in and out through traffic, you don't have to focus on offense. You can really just focus on dodging. And that's the 1cc! And I forgot my timer again! But that's R-Type Leo. We get last-minute cinematic escape, and we fly away from the Paradise Planet. There's player 2, who was no help during the game proper. And yeah, even in the late 80s, early 90s, they were writing cautionary tales about AI gone wrong. Yeah, R-Type Leo, really solid shmup. I recommend it. Actually, coming up soon, we'll have Aquas running Wolffang, which is a shmup, or yeah, I think it's a shmup. Let's see. Let me post a link to Write to Congress, which you can probably get done during the setup block. We'll enter our initials for RGL, and that'll do it for me. We can probably cut over any time. Thanks very much. I'll be back later with Shinobi. Next up is Aquas.